Consider the vector A, which is equal to minus 4i plus 3j, and vector B, which is equal to negative 5i plus 10j. We are asked to resolve the vector B into two vectors, one of which is parallel to A and the other perpendicular to A. So if we start by looking at vector A, and we're going to do that in blue, that is minus 4i plus 3j. So over on the grid to the right hand side, minus 4i plus 3j is going to be this vector here, which we can label as vector A. If we then consider vector B, and we'll do that in the green, vector B is minus 5i plus 10j, which is going to be this vector here. So that vector there we can label as being vector B. To resolve the vector B into two vectors, one of which is parallel to A and the other perpendicular to A, we can see that the direction of A is important. So if the direction of A is important, that's the vector that we need to turn into a unit vector. So recall that a unit vector A is equal to 1 divided by the magnitude of A times by the vector A. So therefore the unit vector A, which we have the hat symbol for, is equal to 1 divided by the magnitude of A, and to calculate that we need to use Pythagoras' theorem, as that's essentially just a right angled triangle. So we have the square root of, and this is going to be minus 4 squared plus 3 squared. So that's going to give the length of the vector A, and then we still need to multiply that by the vector A, which is minus 4i plus 3j. So if we compute that, we have 1 divided by the square root of, 4 squared is 16 plus 3 squared is 9, so that gives the square root of 25. So we just have 1 over 5 times minus 4i plus 3j. And I'm just going to expand that out to get minus 4 on 5i plus 3 on 5j. So that's the unit vector for A. Next, I'm going to let the vector u be the components that are parallel to A. Therefore, the vector u can be found as followed. It's going to be the dot or scalar product between B and A hat, the unit vector A, times by the vector A hat. So this is essentially finding the scalar projection. This first part of the equation is going to find the length of B in the direction of A, and then A hat, when we multiply it by that, that just gives it the direction of A, which is what we're after. So therefore u is equal to, and the first thing we do is calculate this dot product, which is going to equal minus 5 times minus 4 on 5, and then we add on to that the 10 multiplied by 3 on 5. And then we still need to multiply that by the unit vector, which can be written as 1 divided by 5 times minus 4i plus 3j. Simplifying that out, we find that u is equal to minus 5 times minus 4 over 5 is simply positive 4. So we have 4, and then 10 times 3 over 5 simplifies down to plus 6. And then we're still going to multiply that by 1 on 5 times minus 4i plus 3j. And again, we can simplify that down, because 4 plus 6 is 10 times a fifth is 2. So essentially this is just 2 times the vector A, which is minus 8i plus 6j. So if we draw that out in purple, this is going to be the vector u, which is going to be this vector just here. And you can see that that is parallel to the vector A and has twice its length. So that there is the vector u. Next, we're going to let w be the perpendicular component. So that's that vector there that I've just drawn in orange. So that there is vector w. So importantly, that means that this is going to be a right angle just in here. So to calculate w, we need to look at the diagram that we have. So we're going to go negative the vector u, which we just found, plus the vector b should give us the answer that we're after. So therefore, the vector w is equal to, and negative u is going to be plus 8i. So we're going to have 8i, and then we're going to have minus 6j, and then we're going to add on to that the vector which is b, and the vector b is minus 5i plus 10j. And now when we simplify that, we have 8i minus 5i gives 3i, and then minus 6j plus 10j gives plus 4j. And a reminder that that vector was the one that we drew in orange just before that we called w. So therefore we have the two vectors that we resolved parallel to A and perpendicular to A. We had u is equal to minus 8i plus 6j, and we had w was 3i plus 4j. And now you could check that the dot product between those two vectors is 0 by going 3 times negative 8 is negative 24, plus 6 times 4 is positive 24, so that dot product is 0. And adding 8i plus 6j to 3i plus 4j will give negative 5i plus 10j, which was the original vector b. So that's a quick check of how we can see if we got this question correct.